And I'm asking you, in your success ratio, in the 55 to 75 plus ratio of age, how does the success perhaps diminish, or does it is it in fact more successful because you think that more mature people know better what they want? I'm fascinated by that because it seems when I was young, up until the age of about 40, I had legions of available men. It didn't seem like, and then suddenly, well, the whole thing sort of dropped off. And now I'm 77 and I'm thinking, I think I'm okay, but who would want me? So how do you find that? What is the success structure in that age range?
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Aging with Grace, 55 plus Diane Gilman. I'm your co-host, Dale Josie, and we have an amazing guest with us today, Donna Barnes, who is a matchmaking professional. And Diane, good morning to you, first of all, and tell us about this topic. This is intriguing.
You know, I didn't even know that this existed. And I do want to start out by saying that I had a boyfriend, but he was long distance and was down near my television studio. So I would see him all the time. But when COVID came, the whole thing kind of just drifted away. So there I am, and I'm single, and I'm so isolated by COVID, and because I lived right by Mount Sinai Hospital on Fifth Avenue in New York, and they were overwhelmed with cases, so you didn't really want to even go out and breathe the air. And then COVID is officially over as of yesterday, and I'm single, and I'm thinking to myself, now what? I don't go to a formal church. All my clubs are women's clubs. And if they're going to pick somebody up, they're going to pick themselves up first before it ever gets to me. And then I found out about Tawkify, which is a customizable matchmaking service that even handles breakups and anything and everything in between. So Dale, you are what everybody wants to be. Married for 30 years, happy, beautiful wife. She's lovely. Everything is good. You do everything together. Okay. I'm about 12 years older than Dale, and I'm single and find certain parts of my life very socially awkward. But Donna Barnes, professional matchmaker on Tawkify, may just change all of that. Or she may say to herself at the end of this episode, I don't know about this woman, Diane Gilman. What she wants is almost impossible. So let's introduce Donna.
Hi.
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 I can't imagine that I would ever think that you were unmatchable. So let's just lead with that.
Oh, I feel so much better already. So, you know, I think everybody, when we're little girls, and I'm just speaking for females, we think about, we're teenagers, you're going to have that dream boy take you to the prom. At least in the 1950s, this was the entire social message. You're going to meet him. You're going to have been in love since you were in 6th grade. You're going to marry him. You're going to stay married for 80,000 years. And you're always going to be with one person. And it's going to be such a perfect life. And then it doesn't happen. But even in my case, I never asked for that to happen. Those were just expectations put on me. Donna, I am almost, I think, impossible to match up. Like, or what I say, semi-unmatchable. So Donna, you want to take me on as your project of the of the hour?
Yes, I would love to.
I have actually never had a full-out conversation with a professional like you, or actually almost anybody, and really said honestly what I want. So let me start by saying I'm 77 years old. I had the love of my life. About 25 years ago, he died of cancer. And after that, I just sought dating solutions because I buried myself in a career that had me constantly traveling all over this planet. Now I don't do so much traveling, but even at the age of 77, almost to be 78, I'm into a new career, which is silver-haired social media influencer. So I'm not looking to devote all my time to a man. And most of the men I meet, Donna, have been married for 8,000 years, and they're looking for a new wife. They're looking for someone who's a housekeeper, who's going to be sort of an appendage to them. But I have spent most of my adult female life trying to think like a man, because that's what you do in corporate business. Mm-hmm. You ready?
Yes.
I am not looking for love. And when I talk, to most of my friends who are from a female laden club, and I belong to 2 or 3 women's clubs, the ones that are single talk like they're teenagers. I actually said to one of them the other day, who said to me that she was very annoyed, a guy that she really wanted to hook up with, she wanted to go steady. And then I said, wait a minute, are you 16 or 68? I thought you were 68, but you're sounding like you're 16. So the first question I would ask you, Donna, is, am I the oldest potential client you would ever have? And do you believe that you get a lot of older women who still have that prom dress idea in their head that they're going to find the perfect love at a later stage in life? These are my questions.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, and let me start with, by far, you are not the oldest client that I could possibly have.
Yay!
I have a lot of clients, and then Tawkify as a whole has a lot of people that are later in life. And I had a new client I got the other day who said to me, I outsource everything else in my life. I might as well outsource my dating. I thought was a perfect response, because
totally,
it is mostly, like you said, people that are very busy, that are focused on, and it does take a lot of time and energy networking, or really, like if you're on an app or something, really spending a lot of time doing that to effectively find somebody that you have commonality with, which is what it all boils down to, right? So,
and then to me, your chances just keep lowering. Like, what did somebody say? And it was part of a survey, but they said your chances after the age of 55 or 60 of finding true love again, as if you ever found it to begin with, the equivalent is being hit by a meteor in the middle of New York City. No, I'm not kidding you. That was a scientific example. So knowing that socialization, in terms of something like going to church, have slowed way down, and a lot of people would lose a spouse or go into a great divorce, and then through their church community find somebody again. That seems to not be so effective anymore and fading away. But Donna, do you want to hear what my criteria are? They're pretty cold. It's pretty precise.
You know, I do. But before you tell me that, can I ask her the second half of the question you just previously asked?
Yeah.
Which is what people like your common-aged friend that felt like the 16-year-old. And I think that that's exceptionally true for everybody. We all still feel like that young girl or that young guy, but our bodies are not the same, and thankfully our minds are more advanced. So
thank you.
The benefit of it, but it really is a shift in your mindset. And I like to say to clients, could I put a new thought in your head? Because you just need to redefine your identity. First of all, too, as a single person, if you just come out of a relationship where you're no longer part of a couple, you're no longer that version of yourself. You need to be a new version of yourself. And you do have to adjust your parameters a little bit, right? You have to be realistic of who you are. And it takes two. It's not just what you want. What you want has to also want what you offer. So
I'm very specific about this. And I'm going to say I am not, maybe it's because I'm not believing in romance at my age, but let's just say I'm filling out a form. And here's what I would say. Has to be good looking, check. Sorry, I'm so shallow, but when you hear my reasoning, you'll understand. And besides the fact that I am so shallow, has to be in a fairly elevated social stratosphere. And I would love, scratch the word love, I would hope I could find someone who was a great travel partner and a great occasional social advantage. In other words, someone who likes socialization, likes going to the opening of the Met or the this or the that, but glamour. So if I'm going to be really honest with you, I would tell you that I have events to go to where I would be far more advantageous for me to have a good looking, age appropriate, maybe 7 to 8 years younger, maximum, no younger than that. Good looking guy on my arm who can really talk the talk and who enjoys going to events like that or going to meet friends at a high-end restaurant and have conversation, which is usually about the arts or about business. And at the same time, who's not necessarily looking for love, but looking for social appropriateness. And the thing with traveling, I mean, there is traveling I would like to do, but I don't know at 77, 78 years old, that doesn't sound totally attractive to me alone. And I've never found a travel club that kind of matched people up. But then I met Donna Barnes from Tawkify. So not looking for romance, but looking for a steady kind of understanding, escortable friendship, and looking to share maybe some exotic events through travel. Have you ever had anybody just come to you and say very honestly, I want something that's going to fit into my life and enrich it, and it's not going to make me have to turn into something or somebody I'm not?
Well, yes, and exactly that is the purpose of matchmaking, because it's completely confidential. And I say to all of my clients, look, I'm not asking for your PC answer. I want to know what you really want, because that's how I'll find it for you. And so specifically in your demographic, I think what you're looking for is very common with what men are looking for, right? I think the people that come to matchmaking,
think like a man. Yep. Really? You think so? Wow.
Well, I think that like the people that come to matchmaking of all genders have a certain affluence, which is why they don't want to put their pictures out on an app where their clients could potentially see them, or it's embarrassing.
Oh,
and I mean, let's face it, New York's a small town. Like, years ago, I was on Match.com and this guy kept popping up, and then I was jogging in Central Park and I was like, there's that guy from Match.com.
Oh,
like,
no.
Oh, no.
But and I had a friend that was communicating with the girl online, and then he went to his local coffee shop and he was like, hey, I'm not stalking you, but aren't you such and such? Like, I mean, that's the reality of publicly, but and there's people that say, oh, come on, only other people that are looking see that. But if that person is somebody that you work with, now they might be on you and you're not into that. And it's just awkward on so many levels. So the beautiful thing I think about matchmaking is that it's a completely confidential conversation. You don't see anybody's pictures. When you actually meet somebody, all you get is their first name. And you get that in a text 2 hours before you actually meet them. And unless you share your last name or your phone number, they don't know that. So it's very confidential. So to your point of, can I honestly tell you? Yes, please honestly tell me. That's how I'll be able to find you exactly what you're looking for.
So I think that's fascinating because I've worked my whole life at, like that movie, you know, Think Like a Man. And because it really served me well in business. I saw other women around me in business actually lose their performance level from having a romance that busted up, cry when they couldn't get their way corporately. And I've done it all, but I worked my way through it. So number one, I say bravo to you because you really just nailed it for me. That is probably what a lot of men want. Like, I need someone to come to social events with me and look great and be on my arm, but I don't want the complications of the gooey romance part of it all. That's fascinating. That I'm more in the male category than the female category. Oh my gosh.
Well, but actually, I don't put a gender on it.
Great.
You're in the have your life together, fabulous human being category, really, right? So,
Thank
that
you.
like attracts like, that you want somebody who is also in that stage of their life that has worked hard to get what they want. And I ask everybody, what's your goal? Would you like to get married again? Are you looking for a husband? And most people in your demographic say, I don't need to get married again. I just want a life partner. I want someone to do things with and to travel with and to be my best friend, really.
I find a lot of social events, I'm there alone and everybody else is walking in with a husband. And it would just be so much smoother. I would be so much more included in even more social events, and so much more socially graceful if I had that other element. And so what do you think? Do you think I would be hard to match up, just taking me as I'm loving this?
Honestly, you're what men of your caliber are looking for. Right?
No, I cannot believe that for just one thing, my age. Do you know what I read yesterday, Donna? Robert De Niro is like a week away from turning 80 and he just had his 7th child. Right. Oh my God.
But you'd be surprised, and it has pleasantly surprised me, how many men want somebody of their own age. They say, I want somebody at the same stage of life as me, right? So if you're looking for a fun fling, younger is a lot fun, right? And really, it's in the 50s range that people want younger, both men and women, right? Want somebody younger than them. And that's a tricky age because people a little younger than them might still be chasing that dream of creating a family and having a family for the first time. So if you've already done that, it cuts the pool of there's the people. And that's a big question. You know, how do you feel about somebody who already has children, right? Because that's a deal breaker for some people.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I really do think once you get past that, and that's a big thing too. I think once you get into your 60s and your 70s, people don't want to start over with that. They're open to people if they have, but then they'll even say to me too, look, if they have adult kids, that's awesome, but I don't want young kids anymore.
I don't want to be judged by family issues at all. But what I do want is a little bit of what Dale has after being married for 30 years. You know, there are just situations you're in socially, especially in Manhattan, where you're more credible if you've got what people assume is a potential mate. And I get garbage thrown at me all the time with, well, but it all boils down to just this. What's wrong with her? She's single. Or, you know, oh yes, I lost my husband 25 years ago. Well, why didn't you find someone else? Well, maybe I didn't want to find someone else, but it's amazing to me. In 2023, we are still operating on romantic rom-com dreams from 1955. Yeah. I swear, where your ultimate thing as a woman is you should be thrilled to be a housewife, and that's what you want to do again. And you know, honestly, Dale and Donna, I've been interviewed by men on the phone where it was a friend trying to be a friend and fixing me up with someone. I wanted to shoot myself.
Oh no.
I would say about 120 seconds into the conversation, they might as well have just sent me a questionnaire that said, do you cook? Do you do laundry? Do you mop floors? Yeah.
Like you're domestic help or something, you know?
Right.
Which is just not fair. Donna, let me return to something you were saying earlier. And by the way, for our audience who may be just now joining us, we had the pleasure of interviewing and talking with Donna Barnes. She's a matchmaking professional with Tawkify, which is an incredible service for matchmaking for no matter where you are on the spectrum. And Donna, earlier, two things for you. One is you talked about how we bump into people. Talk a little bit about the 6 degrees of separation. And then in terms of matchmaking, or just meeting people. And then number 2, I'd be curious, share with our visitors, with our listeners, how arduous, how demanding the process is that they have to go through before you even match someone up with a potential.
However, if I can just say one thing, what Donna does is something that other services don't do, which is it is very discretionary, it's very private, but it's also what I find at this stage of my life, Donna, is everything from exercise to food and diet to restaurants you pick to trips you pick to take has to be customized. It's a very specialized kind of age, I think, from 55 on. And what I love about what you do as a professional matchmaker is that is your métier. It's, oh, she wants this, this, and this. He wants this. Might just work together. So, okay.
Well,
you're on, Donna.
To start with that piece, I say to all of my clients, I can tell if you're a match on paper, and then it's up to you if you actually have chemistry and like each other or not. But
chemistry is totally different. Yeah.
Commonality is absolutely what makes relationships last. And the majority of relationships only last 3 to 6 months because they're based on chemistry. People meet, they're hot for each other, they jump in and it's fun, but it cools off quickly. And then you're left with, do you fit? Are you a good match? Are your lifestyles, your goals, your everything, your ethics aligning? And more often than not, they're not. So,
and you know what? I am needing this. It would be my, now that we're talking about it and talking about commonality, I don't want someone who's needy. Well,
and that's exactly
needy.
when you come to a matchmaker, you get an hour-long Zoom welcome meeting. Well, I'll ask you all of that. What kind of personality do you get along best with? How would your friends describe you? What's your love language? What do you do for fun? What do you do for exercise? Do you like tattoos? Do you have pets? Like, what kind of music do you like?
I actually do like tattoos and have 3 of them. I love that.
Well, right. But I mean, because it matters. What I find attractive might not be what you find attractive. And I say to all my clients,
good point.
What's your body type?
For sure.
Like athletic, is a dad bod okay? A few extra pounds, skinny, like everybody has what they perceive. And then I'll say to them too, like, do you have a celebrity crush? Or send me pictures of people that you find attractive. So
however,
I know what you find attractive.
Yeah.
What Okay, so 55 plus is the land of losing a mate, especially a female losing a male, to a condition, a medical condition or a disease, or losing him to another version of yourself who's 20 to 30 years younger. And I'm asking you, in your success ratio, in the 55 to 675 plus ratio of age, how does the success perhaps diminish, or does it is it in fact more successful because you think that more mature people know better what they want? I'm fascinated by that because it seems when I was young, up until the age of about 40, I mean, I had legions of available men. It didn't seem like, and then suddenly, well, the whole thing sort of dropped off. And now I'm 77 and I'm thinking, I mean, I think I'm okay, but who would want me? So how do you find that? What is the success structure in that age range?
Well, I'm not sure about our specific demographic. I know we have an 80% matching rate across the entire company.
Oh.
But I will tell you, in the older demographic, matchmaking, I believe, is the best way to do it because it is private and it comes with coaching, right? Like we coach people. I mean, I've been coaching people for 16 years. I can't help but offer advice if I'm talking to somebody and I feel like I can help them with something, right? So there's that too. And to that point, I had a gentleman as a client who was in his 60s, who had a beautiful wife who left him for a hot younger guy. And
oh my gosh.
He went on his first date with somebody and said to her, I haven't been on a date in 30 years. And I was like, oh, you don't tell anybody that.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So that would scare me to death.
Well, and that was her point. She was like, you know what? He was really handsome and I enjoyed his company, but he's a hot mess. He's not. So to the point of matchmaking, it's not just you on your own fumbling through some app and trying to figure it out for yourself. There's
never
with it that also then, and my favorite thing about it is the feedback. We send you out on a date and then the next day you get an email from us that says, how was your date? And you both get to say, and I'll tell you, as a dating coach in Manhattan, especially, I had hundreds of clients over the years come to me because they had a fabulous first date. And then they never heard from the person again. And they're baffled and they don't know why. And I can give it my best guess, but as a matchmaker, I get feedback from that person. And and we ask, like, what did you like? What did you not like? Do you want to see this person again? So you know if you're going to have a second date or not, and what they thought. And you also don't know what you don't know. I think the best thing about matchmaking, about the feedback, is that someone's been on a date with you and shares sometimes very valuable feedback of something that can help you date better.
Yeah. You know, I agree with that.
Before you start, Diane, let me retreat back to a question that I posed a few minutes ago, because I really want to get Donna's response to that. And then our remaining 5 minutes that we have left. Donna, 6 degrees of separation. How much of that is a fact? If we could talk about that a little bit. And then the process that you guys go through, because this is serious business. So if you could comment on both those 2 points, I'll let Diane wrap up on the backside.
Absolutely. Well, to the point of 6 degrees of separation, I've long said in Manhattan, it's 2. If you start talking to somebody, you know somebody that they know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There is that. And I've definitely had a client that I've said, hey, like they've just come out of a toxic situation and we'll put that person's name in their file. So it says, do not match with, right? So that we can avoid, because honestly, when I first started, I had a beautiful 40-ish widow who had a young son who came for matchmaking, and she described what she was looking for. And I found for her who I thought was the perfect guy, checked all the boxes. And I sent her out with him, and she called me and she was like, yeah, we dated before. I know him. So, you know, of course that didn't count for her and we did it again, but I thought to myself, well, at least I know what you're looking for. But I think there is always, but a little bit of matchmaking is stretching people, because in all your relationships that didn't work out, you're the one common denominator. And sometimes that's the devil, I like to call it. So to keep trying the same thing and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. So
Right.
I really value the people that come in and say, look, this is what I've always been attracted to, but that hasn't worked for me. So I welcome your input. And I do think that when you're put together with somebody who's genuinely right for you, you have to allow yourself to be open to it in getting, and you don't always feel that spark right away, especially if you're trying to change what you were attracted to. And I mean, look, centuries people have been matchmaking, and some of those couples really fell in love and really had great marriages anyway. So that's the real basis of matchmaking. Is like a lot of people have said, my picker's broken, right? Right. So
nothing worse than a broken picker.
Right. And really that's the big, I mean, when people say, why aren't you married yet? Really, the answer to that is because you've not made the right choices. So an excellent choice is to allow someone else to make that choice for you and put someone in front of you and say,
one thing that I think,
open your mind.
This is so cogent, because if I was on a regular dating site where it wasn't highly customizable, chances are I would lie about my age, because I would think 77, nobody would want me.
Well,
chances are they would.
So you can't.
Yeah, exactly. Chances are they would lie about their age. And, this is, to me, I've had to rethink almost every area of my life, from exercise to my diet to what my career looks like today, to retirement choices. And I don't think for anybody over 55 or 60, a regular dating service, I know there's all that silver-haired stuff, but I don't know why. I don't think it's for me. I think I'm someone who needs to be more nuanced and explain more. And Tawkify and you, Donna Barnes, would be the perfect people to do that for me, because I also think if I went on a regular dating service, which I've scrolled through, but I've always backed up and said no. But if I went through a regular dating service and said, no, I don't want a romance, and frankly, it doesn't even need to be physically romantic. It needs to feed my soul. That stuff is way too nuanced for just a normal gray-haired, gray to silver-toned dating service.
Well, and really, scientists or psychologists believe that true love doesn't begin until that infatuation, I'm so hot for you phase ends. So really, if you're looking for a life partner, you're better off not having that overwhelming chemistry in the beginning, because then you're making clearer choices about what's a good fit for you. And you're spotting the red flags and you're enforcing boundaries. And, we all lose our heads when we're really hot for somebody. We just throw all caution to the wind. But yeah, I really like that you're saying, I don't need that, because that's when you will make a good informed choice about, wow, you know what? I enjoy this person's company.
Well,
like the same things, our lifestyles align.
My last boyfriend was, I am going to admit it to the world, my last boyfriend was 14 years younger than me. And I didn't like it. I felt whenever I went out in public as a female, I was whispered about and stared at. And, there really wasn't that much about him that gave me an advantage of him being 14 years younger. So I hope that I would have learned by my mistakes. But then to me, a coach and a professional like you, Donna, can always say, do you really want that? Is that the experience you're looking for? Bottom line is, guess what, people, especially ladies out there? Yes, we have the opportunity to have a social life that has a male entity in it, whether you're 55, 65, 75, or beyond. One of the advantages of today, and that is, in its own way, electronic matchmaking with an individual like Donna on her company, Tawkify, the company that she's involved with, that says, okay, you don't have to lie about your age. You don't have to lie about your weight. You don't have to lie about what you want. Being honest is a huge advantage. And with that, I have to say, Donna, I'm ready to sign up with Tawkify. I'm not kidding.
To help you.
This sounds like a good solution for me. Oh, it was a pleasure getting to speak to you.
It's
Diane,
been my pleasure.
You know what, Diane, when you're talking about confessional, I too want to enter the confessional booth before we lose Donna, which is as follows. Donna, when I was dating and someone would say, Dale, I've got someone I want you to meet. And I would say, I'm being shallow. Okay, I'm being shallow. I say, what does she look like? Well, she's got a great personality. Well, what does she look like? She's got a great laugh. I'm thinking, okay, what does she look like? And so all sorts of things are going off in my male brain. Is that the shallowness of the male dating, or what do you think?
No, actually, because it's the way your brain's wired. They've done brain imaging studies of couples in love. And in men, it's still the visual cortex that lights up when they look at the person that they love. So just about every male client I've had has said to me, is it shallow that what she looks like is important to me? And no, it's the way your brain's wired. So and in matchmaking, like to your point about COVID, the wonderful thing about that was that most people have gotten really comfortable with Zoom and talking on video. So
yeah, totally.
We video chat with everybody on both sides. And I really think it gives you an opportunity. And I try to be really honest with people because I'd rather under promise and over deliver. So I will say, like, I was a professional model in Manhattan for the first 20 years of my life. Like, the word beautiful is a very reserved word for me. Like, if I use that word, it's because it's true, right? So, and I had a client come back to me once and said, wow, like I sent him out with this stunning Italian girl, like from Italy, right? Really beautiful. And he was like, wow, when you said she was beautiful, he was like, she was probably the most beautiful girl I've ever seen, right? You know, so, but to your point, Dale, I'll then say, she's pretty, or she's attractive. Or, you know what, she's got great legs. She really takes care of herself. She works out. Like, I try not to be untrue about anything because.
So I have one last question, just one last question. So when I came out of having breast cancer, and I made the monumental decision not to dye my hair anymore and let it go white, I saw a great change in how males interacted with me. And it was almost like I was off the radar. Do you find, and this is just a huge question, then we got to end it or I could talk for you forever. Do you find that white hair, which is also a declaration like, yeah, okay, I'm older, I admit it. Do you find that white hair is, for a female, is a turn off to most of the men you work with?
You know, surprisingly, first of all, I think you look fabulous with your white hair. But
thank you.
Surprisingly, older gentlemen want an attractive woman for sure, but they more want that commonality of life. And I think men have a harder time getting past breakups. So that companionship is really the biggest key to them. So they want a physical, but real quick, let me finish. Like, it's women that don't want the gray hair on men.
Oh no!
I have like 60-year-old women that are like, I can't do the gray. I just like and it just that kind of stuff I try to stretch them on because I'm like, look, everybody's gray by a certain point for the most part, right? Like, I mean, it's really. Yeah. So, and it's very specific to individuals. I find that, yes, some people are exceptionally shallow and what they look like is still what's most important to them. But the majority of people who have lived a life and are now in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, like, been there, done that, right? They now want somebody that they want to talk to at the end of the day, that they want to take trips with, it's really a matter of finding somebody who doesn't push your buttons, really, right? Like somebody who...
I'm so relieved. I don't have to go out and start dyeing my hair red again. Thank you very much for that.
You look fabulous. So why?
Yeah, I just felt that if I ever just went on a regular dating site for silver singles and I plugged in my white hair, that men are somehow genetically gauged to be attracted to much younger women that can provide them perhaps with a new lease on life by a new family, i.e. Mr. De Niro at 79, or I just met another very attractive guy who is 69, now has a 9-month-old baby with a girlfriend while he was still married. Very complicated, but not a good outcome on any level. But again, that younger woman makes me feel younger theme comes back into my life again and again when I think about would I be interested in that guy in companionship? And they tell you, oh, I've got a 30-year-old girlfriend and just had a baby at 69 years old. Yeah.
But Diane, you don't want that man anyway, right? Honestly, that's a self-esteem thing. That's someone that needs to validate his existence by being able to get that young girl, right? It's that
sometimes ego that's all we get to meet, though. Yeah.
Right? So that's not the kind of guy that you want, right? You want the kind of man who's more interested in his experience in life and the things that he does and going to events with, like you said, with somebody age appropriate, right? I mean, in today's world, that's not considered, like, people still call that, like, they used to call that a May, December romance, right? Like, and it was very accepted, but it's really not the norm anymore. I do find people are taking much better care of themselves at an older age, and they're fit. And look, people say, I want somebody my age, but I want them to be fit. I want them to be active and use their wisdom, right? I mean, and that's the great thing about living in a city. You walk just to get to the grocery store, right? You walk, plus anything else that you add to that. So people are much more healthy and fit at a later age, which is why people are now more interested in somebody their own age, because it's less work, right? If you've got that young thing, they've got so much more energy than you. And now they're dragging you here and you're dragging you there and you're going, I had a long day. I just want to relax tonight, right? And that's not what they want.
However,
you made me feel so much better about my position on the social hierarchy in life. I thank you for that, Donna.
There's a book right now, to your point, Diane. It's called The Younger Wife, or excuse me, Donna. There's a book called The Younger Wife by Sally Hepworth. And it's on the New York Times bestseller list. And it's about a 63-year-old surgeon who gets engaged to a 34-year-old interior designer, but there's a problem. He's got a wife. And so that's what this mystery thriller is about. But to your point, that is now in the New York Times bestseller list because that's a real thing.
Yeah, I do think that, like, the duplicity of certain people is, like, I like the expression, the man who marries his mistress leaves an opening in that position. So I think if you're the kind of person that needs that extracurricular, if you will, then that doesn't go away easily. That's a long, hard work to try to change that. So I think, and look, you can have what you want if you're honest about it. I think that's all good. I even see, like, within our database, people that say looking for a polyamorous relationship, and that's fabulous if you have somebody else that
Wow. But good for them.
Yeah.
What I'm looking for is to get some recognition as a more mature female that there's, like, I used to have guys as friends all the time and we hung out, but somehow everybody got married or everybody got involved in their career. And I find that as a generation, we don't come together like that. We don't seem to have those kind of, and maybe advantages of small church, small town, and just natural cross-referencing. You know, I want to thank you so much. You honestly leave me at the end of this episode, Donna, feeling like there is hope for me. I could do it. And I thank you so much for that. This has been a blast. We could go on forever, but we're already way over our time limit. So thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Donna. Good to meet you.
It was really fun chatting with you too. And
excellent.
Have a great
never,
day.
ever give up hope.
Right. Never too old to dream.
Right.
Okay,
thank you,
Dale. So there we are. Maybe definitely some good facts there that say it's possible at any age to get what you want. I think the trick, Dale, is being honest with yourself and knowing what you want. But the other fascination is there are actually organizations and businesses out there that can really help you get there and even know more about yourself and your true wants along the way. How fun.
That was a lot of fun.
I love this.
And as Donna signs off and breaks the goes about her day, I just think it was a great show. And what a topic, you know, because when you look at, to your point, Diane, you know, you're in a very interesting space. And there's a lot of women like you in the same
One way
space.
of putting it,
Yeah. And so what do you do? And so I think Tawkify with Donna it sounds like, did it give you hope, my dear? Did it give you some hope?
I definitely need something a lot more specific and a lot more realistic than being a silver singles. That just isn't me. And and so I have been truthfully very reticent about ever going on a more mature over 50 dating site. But it seems if you can get in touch with something like Tawkify and Donna Barnes, you can really start to achieve some of your more mature life dreams because you can now root out what was good for you as a younger woman, but wasn't good for you as an older individual. And oh, by the way, Tawkify, 75% of the clients are female. So 75%. Obviously, I think so. And we'll end it because we're going way over time, Dale. We'll end it this way. If you are female, by the end of your life, you will be single because men simply check out sooner. And so 80% of all women in their older and more mature phase of life are alone. So there is something really to be said for going to a dating service where they are professional matchmakers, do a lot of the footwork for you, ask the honest questions, and kind of force you to really think about it. And do you not? So my preparation for today's show was, are you looking for love? And the answer was, no, I'm looking for more like a good dinner partner, a good travel partner. Sorry, I think I passed the point where I think I don't want to devote that much time and potential that much heartache to true love at 77 years old. But boy, I sure would like somebody who loved the idea of going to Paris, going to Milan, going to London, good meals at night, good museums during the day.
Broadway shows or whatever.
Here's the point. Ladies, there is hope. If you're over 55, you can get matched up again, because in the age of internet, you are going to be able to find a site where you can really go into the narrow lane you may be in, and it's perfectly acceptable. And you, Dale, 30 years of marriage, we all wished that we could have had that, but just wasn't in the cards for me. So
thank you.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Once again, Single and married forever.
But what a dynamic partnership that makes for this show. Diane, this has been absolutely delightful. Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
A lot. And I hope we give a lot of hope out there to single women that if you are silver-haired like I am, you're hearing from a matchmaking expert. It's not necessarily a detriment or a turnoff or a signal that you are beyond it. Step out of your lane. There is a lane for you. You just got to customize it. So with that, I'm going to run, and I thank you guys so much. I hope you love this episode as much as we love doing it.
That would be the last word from my co-host, Diane Gilman, and we'll see you again next week on Aging with Grace. Diane Gilman, 55 plus. I'm her co-host, Dale Josie. Have a great day, and Diane, enjoy your day. Bye-bye.
I shall. Bye.